Sorry. Okay, thank you. So before we actually jump into the demo, let me introduce myself first. So I am Urvesh, and I've been in working in the field of forensic investigation, cyber crimes, and specifically IBM QRadar since a year or more now. Right. So I've been into information security or cyber security since 4 years now, and I'll be your instructor throughout this entire QRadar course at the Hacktivist. And before we actually jump into the demo, I would like all of you, if possible, one by one, to just introduce themselves and tell me the reason that why would you like to join QRadar, or what's the need of learning QRadar, how it could help you, or why the reason you are enrolling into this QRadar course. So, if possible, I just request every one of you. It's okay if you are not comfortable in unmuting the yourself. You could just ping down in the chat box. That also it's completely all right. Okay, just let me know if I'm audible properly.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And like, if anyone is willing to introduce, then it's completely all right. If not, then we can proceed with the demo. It's absolutely good.
Hello, hello. My name is Abdul Malik. I live in
Hello, sir.
Germany. My name is Abdul Malik. I'm SOC analyst. I am using Elasticsearch tools and Greylog, and now I am taking course on IBM on Coursera. So I'm using QRadar. So I did this training. I am here.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
I'm Anurag. Like I work for a pharmaceutical company and like heading IT audit function over there. Reason for me joining this is nowadays like post like COVID days, work from home and those kind of things. Right now the SOC monitoring is important for even for audit purpose also. I just want to make sure that my organization is taking good steps and enough monitoring doing to avoid like increased cyber crimes or cyber attacks which is happening nowadays. So I want to know how this happens, how this monitoring that happens, so that I can review in my organization.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, so I hope I mean two of people want to introduce themselves. That is completely all right. And if not, then we could just start off with the demo. So I'll just start sharing my screen, and please tell me or confirm that is my screen visible.
Yeah, visible.
Okay, okay, that's cool. So before we directly jump on into our demonstration for this session, I would first like to officially show you the documentation that is there of our official syllabus, the Hacktivist. If you don't have this PDF, no worries at all. I'll be sharing you this PDF after this demonstration ends via the chat box. So if we scroll down, we could see there are in total of 9 modules, starting from Security Operations Center concepts, SOC concepts, and there are other modules which focuses on networking, cyber attacks, SIEM in general. Then the other modules are focusing towards QRadar in core. So in this way, the entire 9 modules are conducted at the Hacktivist, and this is how we are going to go through and follow these modules for our entire QRadar training. Okay, and I'll share this PDF after the demo session ends so that you could have this PDF along with you, and you could just refer it out or use it as a brochure, or you could also use it to distribute in your own networks as a reference. So if anyone else from your own network wants to join for the same, you could share this PDF to them as well, right? So before we actually dive into what are we going to learn, so apart from these modules that you saw in the PDF, the entire QRadar course that is designed at the Hacktivist is divided as per days and the modules. So if you could see the screen, here are 16 days. There are TXT files, right? And 16 days are there for this entire QRadar training course. Let me just open the first day. So the very first chapter that you see as a learner when you enter into the QRadar course is getting started with DigitalOcean droplets, in which we will be actually seeing that how we could set up a SIEM home lab. So how we could set up a lab, a cloud using cloud environment services, and we could use QRadar for our home practice. So in which we will be using DigitalOcean, right? And all the things will be cleared, that how much money is it need to be invested or something. And of course the new users that are there on DigitalOcean, they get $100 of free credits. And also to clear out this doubt as of now, that why are we using cloud services? Because QRadar requires high computational and CPU powers. That's the reason we are using cloud service, so that we could assign around 7030 MB of RAM alone to QRadar itself. Then around 4 CPU cores to alone QRadar. So it requires this kind of high configuration. Along with that, apart from QRadar, we are also going to run other operating systems such as Linux and Windows for our practice, so that we could actually understand that how practically we can collect logs from these different machines, such as a Windows machine or a Linux machine, and we could practice a hands-on lab on it, right? So the very first day in the class will be focusing on towards creation of SIEM home lab, although this is completely optional, but we recommend to go with this thing because it will help you to understand whatever we are doing practically in the class, so that you could along with it you could just practice. Then the second chapter is all about getting started with the installation of QRadar in general, that how starting from how to download QRadar community edition, how to import it in VirtualBox, what are the configuration that is needed for making it run properly, how to configure the network adapters in QRadar, and how to set up the admin console. Everything will be covered. Then the third chapter is all about DSM, that is device support modules, that how we could actually collect different log sources from different devices. Similarly, if we open day 2, then we are going to look at the general SIEM overview, that what is the SIEM in general, what is service profiling, and what are the attacker behavior patterns and abnormalities that we need to take care of as an SOC analyst, and what exactly do we mean by service profiling. And these two services we are going to see, not practically but theoretically, that why these two services are important as an SOC analyst. And similar to this, what are the other different services that we need to focus on in an organization working as an SOC analyst, so that maximum amount of logs are generated, and using those maximum amount of logs which are generated, we could do log investigation, or we could just analyze the threats that could occur on our organization. Apart from that, we will also cover advanced endpoint analytics, which will include different methods of log collection, such as log collection via agents, agentless, and via scripting, right? Analyze critical events based on the attacker patterns, credential theft, and reuse. So in this similar way, the entire 16 days have been divided. And just to make sure the things are more easy and clear, here it is written by the name day 1, right? It's not necessary that the entire thing will be covered in the day 1 itself, right? Now this day 1 could run up around 3-4 days or 5 days, right? And similarly, if you go for the day 2, this day 2 also could run around for 3-4 days or in a 5 days, right? So it's just by the name as for the reference that we need to follow all these things. And in this way, the entire QRadar course is designed for at the Hacktivist platform, right? Is my voice lagging anywhere? I think so. Anyways, I'm sorry if it is. I'll just reinsert my microphone jack. Yeah, now it's okay, right? So here was I that this is how the entire QRadar course is designed at the Hacktivist, and these are just the relevances, or the you could say the points that we will follow. Now, apart from this PDF and apart from focusing on these training modules of 16 days, in order to make things more easier for you all, we will actually be providing you these kind of notes. So you will be getting this notes link, right? We will be sharing you this link, and we will be unlocking the chapters as and on we go on further with our classes, right? So you could open this notes anywhere from your smartphone, from your laptop, from your tablet, anywhere at any time. Could open this notes, and as you could see, there are different chapters. As of now, there are 10 chapters, but there are more than 10 chapters because we unlock the chapters as and on we move on further in the course, right? So everything that we will be covering in this entire QRadar course will be given in these notes. So for example, if we come across the first chapter, consider that what is DigitalOcean service. So these are small paragraphs, not even big lengthy notes, small technical paragraphs. So of course, the technical terms we will be using throughout our entire course. Apart from that, to make things more easier, we will be taking non-technical examples and definitions. But whenever you want to refer to the technicalities or the technical terms and definitions, you can anytime reopen these notes and you can revise all the things that was there, or you could also use them for your reference purposes, right? Similarly, if there is some kind of demo that how to configure RDP in the DigitalOcean Droplet for our SIEM home lab, then all the commands that you need to run are being given over here. Then how to create a Ubuntu Droplet, that is a Ubuntu cloud machine that we will be using. Everything according to the steps and along with the screenshots have been provided over here, right? Apart from that, apart from the setup procedures and all, if you see SIEM chapter 4 SIEM, that is what is an SIEM basically, right? So short definitions, technical definitions with easy understandable meanings have been provided into the notes. Consider this thing that we are focusing on our today's demonstration, that what is SIEM basically. So let us see what is SEM, that is security event management. So what is SEM? Security event management collects and aggregate logs, data generated through organizations, technology infrastructures. So basically SEM is all about collection of logs and aggregation of logs via the different log sources. And SIM, that is there, it is security information management. It means analyzing the logs. So SEM means collection of logs, SIM means analyzing of the logs. Together, if we combine SEM plus SIM equals to SIEM, that is collection of logs as well as analysis of logs with intelligence. So this is what we will be focusing for the SIM overview chapter. And this is what we will be using QRadar for, the QRadar as an SIEM tool, right? So this is how things have been piled up into this entire QRadar course that you could see. Along with that, this everything that I'm showing you on the screen, it will be followed in the classes as it is. So it's not something that tomorrow if you enroll into the class and there is a different PPT and these notes are different, it's nothing like that. Everything that I will be teaching you will be from this notes itself. I'll be reading this content. Along with it, I'll be explaining you as I did as of now for these two things. And you will also get these same notes that I'm teaching on for your further reference if you just want to revise the things out again, right? So this is the advantage that you will be getting for the notes, right? Apart from that, if I talk in general, I'll just open up my notepad, right? If I talk in general that what we will be covering, so what is QRadar basically? It's a it's a SIEM tool that is used for log analysis, and we will be focusing on log analysis as well as network flow analysis. Right? So we will be using QRadar for log analysis, network flow analysis, the main concepts that as an SOC analyst needs to know while working as an SOC analyst in any organization, whether corporate, small scale, large scale, MNC, anyone. The very main thing for an IBM QRadar SOC analyst is rules. So we will be covering rules. Then we will be covering how to create custom rules. And I'll be coming on this point in a moment or so, that what do I mean by custom rules. Then we will be seeing how to add different log sources, in which the practical will be covered of Windows and Linux systems. Apart from that, I will be covering, you could say, about use cases, we won't be covering each and every use case because they are as per the company's, you could say, compliances, that different companies follow the different compliances such as GDPR or HIPAA. We won't be going, hands-on in each one of them. But yeah, we will be seeing that how we could use the use case manager and the use cases as per the rules that we are there or we are creating of, right? Then we will see dashboard analytics. Then the most important thing, again, as an SOC analyst, we will learn how to investigate into an offense, right? So this entire, all these important things that are the core of QRadar system, everything will be covered practically in depth along with technical notes and along with easy to explain examples, right? Also, we will be having a look at the App Exchange, IBM App Exchange, using which how we can unleash more powers of QRadar or tuning up the SOC, tuning up QRadar, right? So everything that is there as an important as an SOC analyst or is important in terms of QRadar, we will be covering out that, right? So now, many of us do ask us that, are we covering installation of QRadar also? Yes, we are covering that. But, as an SOC analyst, when we work in a corporate organization, as an SOC analyst, we don't need to, install QRadar or install any SIEM tool. It is already installed in a, corporate network, right? We just, as an SOC analyst, the main task is to do log analysis and network flow analysis, right? So we will be doing that primarily, as well as we will also see that how we can install and deploy QRadar and what is the QRadar architecture, how the events are being collected, what are flows, what are events, what are the different tabs of QRadar, how we can extend QRadar to a higher capability, how we can tune up QRadar to meet our organization need, right? So everything will be covered. Now, apart from that, a general doubt that I would like to clarify, that we have this doubt probably more in most of our SIEMs or QRadar sessions, that what is the difference between Splunk and QRadar? Because many people these days are aware of Splunk in general, right? So I know, nobody till now asked this doubt to me, but then I thought, to add up more content, I could, add up this thing so that the things are more clear, that why QRadar. So the point is, I know that Splunk is cheap and QRadar is a bit expensive. Cheap, I mean, it's not cheap at all, but yeah, it is kind of a thing that a medium scale organization also can afford, or a small scale organization, and QRadar is for from medium scale up till the large scale organizations can afford and take QRadar. So Splunk, if I talk generally focusing on Splunk, then it is mainly for log analysis, right? And most of the SIEM is all about the rules it contains. Rules means the conditions that are there, that if somebody tries to log in, then this. So if and conditions are there, that is there of rules. So we will be seeing and looking into the technical definition of rules as well during our classes, right? So there is no worry on that, no question mark on that. So mainly, what is a core thing in an SIEM are the rules, right? So the prime difference between Splunk and QRadar, I could say that QRadar not only allows us to do log analysis, but it also allows us to do network flow analysis. If I could give a practical example over here, so consider I have an organization where my company is using the port IRC, Internet Chat Relay, the protocol IRC, which is Internet Chat Relay for its internal communications, right? And consider that this IRC is running on port number 7415. This is not the port. This is not the IRC port on which it should intentionally run, but it is running on this random port 7415, and the service that I'm using on this port is IRC. Now, QRadar, with its capability of network flow analysis, it will not only help me to identify that something is running on 7415, but it will actually tell me that IRC is running on this 7415 and what kind of communication, what kind of traffic is going on, right? Apart from that, if I say about custom rules and all, the main thing that differentiates Splunk and QRadar are the rules itself. So QRadar has a tremendous amount of inbuilt rules, which are well pre-configured. So it's only 10 to 15% of the chances is there that we need to create a custom rule. Just 10 to 15% of the chance, that too as per the organization requirements. Why? Because the rules that are there inbuilt in QRadar, they are so well configured, pre-built that 90% of the time it generally meets the organizational needs, right? Apart from that, QRadar is highly versatile and extensible, that we could, for example, if the company is running semantic endpoint encryption system, so we could actually configure the semantic endpoint encryption system along with our QRadar SIEM, so that whatever logs are coming from semantic endpoint can be analyzed in QRadar. Apart from that, various organizations do have Nessus or IBM AppScan or different scanners such as McAfee scanners. Just ignore the spellings, okay? So we could actually connect these things along with a QRadar SIEM so that we could do a detailed depth log analysis. Apart from that, QRadar also supports custom reports along with company's logo and branding. And it is highly extensible. Moreover, if all these things are still less, we could anytime go to the IBM App Exchange Center and increase the extensibility and versatility of QRadar even more and make it more customizable and powerful as per the needs that we want, right? So we will be using IBM App Exchange. We will be installing apps via there as well, right? So that's the reason QRadar, you could say, stands up a bit higher than a Splunk or any other SIM out there, which is used for SOC purposes, right? So this was the basic difference. Apart from that, giving one more example from my end, that how we could actually identify or reduce the number of threats or identify the threats in advance. That's the reason we are calling it over here threat intelligence, right? So the only point is, now for example, that I have a company named Hacktivist. Okay, so I am working in a company named Hacktivist, and it is in India, and almost 95% of the traffic or services which my endpoint users are getting are only from India, right? Consider this general example. Now all of a sudden in this month, I am getting maximum amount of traffic considered from the country China or any other country, which is not appropriate or which is something unusual. So these kind of things can also be identified in QRadar, and how to mitigate it, that we could actually create a rule that it triggers an offense if maximum amount of traffic is generated from a specific country, for example China, right? Apart from that, consider one more example, that in my organization there is an employee named XYZ, and this XYZ, this fellow is on a notice period. Okay, you could consider this notice period is of 1 month, right? And using QRadar SIEM, what kind of threat I could identify is that one of the endpoint in my network is using around 50% of data, 50% of, you could say, resources, to make it more technical sound, right? 50% of resources. Now, till now that I was observing, till now, this same endpoint was using 20% of resources. Okay, all of a sudden, since the last month or since this 1 month, it is using 50% of resources. So there is 30% more increase in the resources or the data or the network communication that is going on, right? So, and I come to a conclusion that this endpoint that is there is used by this XYZ fellow, which in turn is on a notice period of 1 month. So there could be a possibility that this chap over here is sending some data, or what is the reason behind the increasing data consumption, right? So all these kind of threats that could be there to an organization, these kind of threats also can be identified in QRadar. So we will be looking at all these things in investigation into an offense in depth, right? And now coming to a small demonstration, I would like to showcase you all. So I'll open my QRadar console, which is running in my cloud environment. I'll log into this QRadar. And here you could see the very first thing that I could see is the QRadar dashboard. We will be covering each and everything in the class practically. What is a dashboard? What is the offense tab? What is the log activity tab? So consider our QRadar training 85 to 90% of its practical, 10 to 15% of the theory is there. That to technical theory, and all the notes will be provided. So there is a think win-win situation from both the ends, right? And I'll open the log activity tab where I could see all the logs that are generated from this Linux machine. So here is a Linux machine. I'll just first filter out that I don't want the logs that are, or the messages that are coming from the local host, that is 127.0.0.1. I don't want this local host to be included. So I'll just clear this filter. I want to filter that it's not. So the source IP is not the local host, right? And I'll just start the log activity audit in real time. Now I'll open up this Linux machine and let me try to enter into this Linux machine. And I discovered that the password was wrong. And if we go back to the log activity tab, an authentication attempt was unsuccessful, right? From the IP 192.168.57.10, general authentication failed. Now let me, just to cross verify the things that I am doing it in real time, I'll show you the IP address of this Linux machine. So I'll actually enter the correct credentials and I'll type the command ifconfig, ifconfig. And here we could see 192.168.57.10. Right now, what I will do is I'll add up a new user. I'll create a new user in this Linux machine. I'll first again filter out on this. And I will create a user in this Linux machine with the name system hack. So it's sudo user at system hack. I'll enter a password. I'll create a user. Now, in a moment, I'll delete this user. The newly created user which I just created, and the user is deleted. Now let us go back to the log activity. User deleted. User account creation followed by account deletion. Suspicious activity followed by endpoint administration task. Right. So this creation of a new user, it's kind of a privileged task. Right. It's kind of an admin task that if a user has been created with a pseudo privileges, considering the the command sudo, which a normal user shouldn't do, a normal endpoint user, right? So it captured all this kind of logs. Now, if I repeat this event again and again, what I did over here, the login of the machine, the failure of the login failure, the successful login, all these are events, right? In terms of QRadar, the logs which are sent from this Linux machine to QRadar in the form of events, right? Now, if I repeat this series of events consecutively, again and again, it will be termed as an offense. So in the offense tab, if I just open the offense tab now, suspicious activity followed by endpoint administration task containing user deleted. Now you could see the magnitude. We will be seeing that how the relevance and how the severity and how the creditability is being rated and how on this basis a magnitude is calculated. All these things we will see practically in the class as well. If we scroll down, we could see the top 5 users: system hack, syslocal, sysadmin2, system L. Now, don't get confused that when did I create these users? These were created previously, right? So before the demo, I had done this thing, right? Now, as of now, system hack, if we see, right? So total number of events 8, total number of offenses 2. So total events and flows 19. So it is actually telling me that how many times this event was triggered. That's the reason it is considering it as an offense, right? Then what are the activities that were followed? Suspicious activities there. User account added, user account removed. So this suspicious activity is including the login failure that I did for the first time. And we will actually see and learn that how we could investigate out an offense as an SOC analyst, right? So again, if I go to the offense tab and I could see another offense, user account creation followed by account deletion, means the account was created and then it was deleted again and again, right? So we could again see the magnitude, the severity. System hack, Total events and flows 12. So it's not just the first time that I've been doing this. By seeing this offense, we could actually conclude that it was not just one time that I had done this. It was around, there were 12 events associated with this thing. So probably 6 times the user was added or the 6 time user was removed, right? So user account again added and again deleted, where log source technical virtual box. And just to cross verify, it's the technical virtual box machine. This Linux machine is a technical virtual box over here, right? So in this way, and we could also see the source and the destination IPs. Again, it's destination 192.168.57.10, right? So we will be actually looking out into how to investigate an offense, how to use the use cases, create custom rules, everything that will be covered, including the use cases that we will be studying. It will be as per the rules, because as an SOC analyst, the main area that we will be focusing will be on rules, right? Apart from that, apart from all this QRadar stuff, if you actually need an additional resources, that after enrolling into this training, after getting the certificate from the Hacktivist, what next? How to move properly into the QRadar domain, or how to properly move into the SOC domain? What are the next steps that need to be taken? This kind of career counseling session will be conducted by our team. Apart from that, if any one of you need interview questions, SOC interview questions, that also will be provided by us, along with all the things that I promised, the notes, right, and the practical content, and the good amount of explanation that I'll be doing. And yes, also we will be clearing out any doubts in case are arised, right? So this was all about the demo session that I wanted to give on my end, right? And if anyone have any kind of doubts, it is okay if you could just unmute yourselves and ask me the doubts.
One doubt I have, like as you explained, difference between Splunk and this QRadar.
Yes,
And
sir.
what is the major difference between like ArcSight and this QRadar?
So actually, the main, if you see, compare with other SIEM tools that is out there, such as ArcSight, Logarithms, Splunk, they are mainly oriented towards log analysis, right? Why QRadar is standing out a bit different from them is because it allows us to do network flow analysis in real time. Apart from that, this rules example that I said, that the inbuilt rules that are there, while compared to any other SIEM out there, in QRadar, there are so many rules pre-configured and pre-built that there is a least chances of creation of custom rules. Moreover, the rules which are there, they are updated, they are latest, so they are in accordance with the latest threats, and also we can customize these rules as per the organization needs. Another big advantage, or you could say the main advantage, that I would rate it as the IBM App Exchange, which is there, right? Now, consider an example. For example, sir, there was a ransomware out there recently known as WannaCry. And the main reason that this ransomware entered into a Windows machine was the SMB protocol not configured properly, or the SMB service. Yeah, not configured properly. I just typed it SBM, but it is SMB. This was the main prime area of the WannaCry ransomware to penetrate into a system, right? What we could do in QRadar, we could go to the IBM App Exchange. We could search for this WannaCry ransomware. We could see what are the apps and extensions. So what this IBM App Exchange is all about, it provides us apps and extensions which are either built up by IBM itself or any third party organizations such as McAfee, Palo Alto, right? We could install these apps and extensions. We could see there is an app for WannaCry, or WannaCry ransomware, or Petya ransomware, and other different sorts of ransomware. We could add it into our QRadar SIEM. And by using this, our QRadar SIEM will be more powerful and more extensible, because it will now also identify the endpoints which are vulnerable to WannaCry, or which are affected by WannaCry. Right. Similarly, apart from this ransomware thing, why QRadar is more, you could say, versatile? Because of its nature of the different DSMs that are supported, that are the device support modules.
Okay.
So consider Windows, Linux. Apart from Windows or Linux, Amazon AWS is there, Palo Alto firewalls are there, different routers are there, semantic endpoint encryption is there, right? So QRadar supports a lot of DSMs, device support modules, and during the class we will actually share you the entire list of DSM which are supported by QRadar. Apart from that, we will be using QRadar Community Edition.
Okay.
Community Edition itself has around you could say 10 or 12 plus DSMs that are by default supported, or even more, right? So that's the thing, that QRadar, that's the only difference, that is making QRadar stand more superior than other SIM out there.
Yeah, that my question, limited question was extra question was, okay, like I understand there are many functionalities QRadar. If I understood QRadar appropriately, if I go and check the CyberArk, ArcSight also, so would there
Okay.
be any major difference in functioning in terms of like understanding? Like I need to understand Cyber or ArcSight again, as I understood the QRadar, or the basics would be same.
Yeah, sir, the ultimate conclusion that I want to say is that whether it comes to ArcSight, Splunk, QRadar, Logarithm, any other out there, the ultimate conclusion or the ultimate goal is to do log analysis as an SOC analyst,
Right.
right? So this is the ultimate conclusion that we are doing, and this is the ultimate thing that is supported by any other SIM out there. But the differentiating factor yet remains the same, that is of the rules. Now, sir, why are we using this SIM basically, and what is the need of this SOC, that Security Operations Center? The very first area that we want to prevent our organization for from affecting from cyber threats, right? And these SIM are made up of rules, right? So if in an SIM the rules are already in a lot of quantity, moreover the rules are also pre-well configured. So that is what the main point is there of QRadar, that if there are a lot of rules that too well configured compared to any other SIM out there, which supports log analysis as well as the real-time network flow analysis, then the chances of my organization detecting the cyber threat using QRadar are more.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe simple question. QRadar have upload files or just live monitoring?
It supports live monitoring as well as you could store these logs. But
If
yes, sir.
for example, if I have logs from another machines from another company and I want to did analysis for it or did forensics for it, can I use QRadar for that or just live?
No, sir. You can definitely use QRadar. There is no need of any separate thing for that. For example, if you have a log source from a log, for example, you have a log source, consider, and there are logs stored in it, and you extract the logs from that log source. You can actually import those logs in QRadar. Apart from that, that log source you could actually search up in the QRadar DSM list, that is device support module list. You can directly configure that particular log source with QRadar so that all the logs that are coming are actually sent to QRadar further directly.
What the types of files? Yeah, for example, Elasticsearch or Gililog using JSON files, CSV extensions file. For example, if I have event logs for Windows and I want to make analysis for it, and I will convert it to JSON files or CSV. Is it the same in QRadar, or what's the types of extension files?
So actually, there are a lot of methods to do this. But yeah, for example, if you have you could say a CSV or a JSON file containing the logs, right, from a log source that is there, you could actually import that particular thing into QRadar.
Okay, thank you very much.
And that logs can be further analyzed into QRadar. If it's the log is there, the QRadar will automatically see the logs, read them, parse them, and do the SIM and SEM stuff, combining it with SIM, and make offenses as per the categories.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now coming to the last point for this demo session, the actual thing, that when are the batches starting from, right? So I'll just write down in the chat as well after this demo session the timings of the batches as well as the date, right? Apart from that, I'll be dictating them as of now. So we at Hacktivist follow two types of batches: weekends and weekdays. Obviously, the normal you could see in any other training company, right? So weekdays and weekend. So the weekdays batches that are starting from Monday to Friday, weekdays, the batch is starting from tomorrow 9 p.m. IST. So 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. The weekdays batches are of 1 hour, max to max 1 hour 15 minutes, not more than that, right? So
wait, from tomorrow from 9 a.m.
9 p.m. sir, IST.
9 p.m. to
10 p.m. IST.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying according to the Indian Standard Time, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sir. So 9 p.m. onwards up till 10 p.m. Monday to Friday. The batch is starting from tomorrow. The next,
Yeah. 1
yes,
hour,
sir.
just 1 hour every day.
Yeah, 1 hour
Yeah.
every day if you take it for the weekdays, right?
Okay.
Now, sir, the weekend batch is there for Saturday and Sundays, which runs for 2 hours, right? Only Saturday and Sunday. It is starting from the coming Saturday, that is 21st. The timings are 10:30 a.m. IST to 12:30 p.m. IST. I'll be writing down this thing, right? And another the third batch that is there, it is starting from Monday. Again, it is weekdays. So Monday to Friday. So starting from coming Monday, that is 23rd onwards, it is from 8 a.m. in the morning IST up till 9 a.m. in the morning IST.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just note this down in the notepad. The first batch that is from tomorrow, and the date is 19th. Timings are 9 p.m. IST to 10 p.m. Then the weekend batch that is there from 21st Saturday. It is of weekends. It's starting from 10:30 in the morning IST up till 12:30 p.m. IST. And the next batch again for weekdays, it is starting from 23rd onwards. 23rd, you could say that is Monday. Again, it's weekdays, and it is 8 a.m. IST to 9 a.m. IST. And I'll just copy this entire thing and
Okay.
I'll paste in the chat box so that it is okay for the further reference as well. Okay. Now, my request would be that if any one of you would like to enroll, I hope you enjoyed this demo session. You could actually pay up the fees. You could enroll into this, and you could actually reserve your seat in any of these either batches as per your timing, as per your convenience. So if you are if you want to learn QRadar and you are willing to start from tomorrow and 9 p.m. IST suits you, then you can start from tomorrow. If you are someone who are comfortable in weekends, then you could start from Saturday, Sunday, that is coming Saturday 10:30 a.m. onwards, weekends batch. Or if you want to start from Monday, that is in the morning, weekdays, but in morning, early morning, then you could start from the 23rd onwards, 8 a.m. You could just
Okay.
pay. Yes, sir.
What about the price? The cost?
Yeah, so price if you are into India, so for Indians it is for India it is 6,000 INR,
Yeah. What's
right?
equal in dollar?
uh for the international price, I'll be sharing you the management team
Okay.
number, so you could
Okay.
get in touch with the management team. It is not much, it is more over the same, just plus minus a bit, but I'll make sure I'll give you the number of the management team.
Okay.
You could get in touch with the management team and you could check out for the prices as well for the
Okay.
international rates.
Thank you.
Also,
Yeah.
one request from my end, sir, that I'll just at the same time I'll just see how many of you have also attended the session. Yeah, sir, it's $100 for the international price.
Okay, good.
Uh,
The being with PayPal,
Pardon, sir?
the being method is by PayPal or another application. How to
Sir,
pay? How to pay?
how to, you're asking for the payment, sir?
Yeah, payment. Yeah,
Yeah,
how to
sir,
pay?
everything will be taken care by the management team, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Now, sir, there was one doubt that there will be a recording of the session. So I'm extremely sorry. Recordings won't be allowed, and the recordings won't be provided for this training. Because anyways, we are there to clear your doubts. Even if in case you miss out a session, we will repeat that session for you. We will be guiding you for the same, as well as we are also giving out the notes in case if you miss out something or if you just want to revise, right? So recordings won't be provided.
Yeah, Chandana, one more question I have. Okay, like how many? You said 16 classes, right? So like in 3 weeks' time, these classes would be over.
So 16 classes, it doesn't mean that the one day the one class will end. Now, for example, sir, there is day one over here, which is the first day, the first class. The first class consists of 3 chapters, right? So it is not a compulsion thing that these 3 chapters will be ended in the day one itself. So probably if you start tomorrow 9 p.m., so it is not